Hey YouTube, welcome back to a brand new Animal Crossing video. Today we're doing something really cool and taking a look at a lost character that technically exists but you never get to see. It's a fun one, so without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So the Animal Crossing franchise dates all the way back to 2001, when it debuted and released on the N64 in Japan. Since then, with a number of ports and new mainline games, it has accumulated somewhere in the region of 60 million sales, across 8 different consoles worldwide, which is super impressive. In this time, we've met some fan favourite characters such as Tom Nook, the Tanuki, who loans us everything we need to start a new life, the Able sisters, who have appeared in almost every mainline game and helped us to buy and create a variety of clothing items, and more recently Isabelle, who would do anything for anyone. Now, since 2001, we've seen countless villagers over the years come and go, as well as special characters who either work in town permanently or visit randomly as they travel through, so you could say it would be fairly easy to miss one. But with that said, it's even easier to miss them if they were completely unused, removed from the game, and forever lost to the world. Lost character. One character in particular who went undiscovered for many years and several generations was this adorable squirrel character. Now, there's quite an interesting story behind this character, as she's been labelled with a variety of names in the last couple of years. When she was originally discovered, fans of the franchise nicknamed her Blazel, as she closely resembles 2 other squirrels called Bliss and Hazel, which personally I think is really cool. These 2 characters were originally Animal Crossing islanders rather than villagers, so to make things a little more confusing, have since been renamed to Caroline and Sally respectively. Anyway, once Blazel's Japanese name of Shakitsu was discovered in the game's files, it was then translated to Chestnut, which again is a pretty cool name and somewhat more appropriate for a squirrel. However, thanks to recent data miners and professional translators, it has since been revealed that Chestnut was actually a mistranslation, and in fact more accurately translates to the name of Crisp. But given she never actually received an official English name, she can easily be referred to as any of the above. Squirrel Villager. Now, given there are a number of squirrel characters in the franchise, you may think Crisp the squirrel was just another ordinary villager but seemingly cut from the game. Now, while that's mostly true, Crisp was referenced by the name ACNH Dokutu in the game's code, referring to actor, event, Dokutu, and based on the EV label, indicates she was in fact a travelling special character, much like Crazy Red, Sahara, Wendell and Joan amongst others. So it seems that one stage during the game's development, Crisp was initially intended to be a travelling squirrel who, like many other travelling characters, would only be encountered on random days. Character removed. Now, Crisp did also have some text associated with her in the game's files, confirming she likely had a greeting or catchphrase of the saying Tora, which doesn't seem to have a direct translation, but is possibly a Japanese phrase used to describe a sound. Anyway, with textures and only a handful of text files, it's easy to assume Crisp was removed late into the development. However, we can piece together a little more information about Crisp using the ACNH Dokutu keyword. Now, Dokutu is likely a shortened keyword for Dokutoru, and Dokutoru is a katakana rendition of the word doctor, which suggests Crisp was some sort of travelling doctor, and shortening keywords like this was a popular trait in the game's code. It seems some researchers have reported additional strings such as sick and patient have also been discovered, so may support this theory, although I couldn't actually find the source for these additional words. Anyway, the most common theory for Crisp's role in the original Animal Crossing games does appear to be a travelling doctor who may have somehow helped players with a healing mechanic, most likely when they were stung by bees, for example. This is again supported by the fact that the medicine we use today that you can buy from Nooks or receive from villagers wasn't a feature in the game until the enhanced port on GameCube, so it makes sense. Alternative role. Now, with the help of translators, recent data mines have suggested Crisp may have also been associated with methods used for growing flowers, so new speculation suggests she may have had connections to early gardening mechanics too. Some researchers believe that Dokutsu was actually referring to Dokutsu, which means cave or opening of the ground. So with this, alongside her Japanese name being an onomatopoeia and describing the sound of something like an action, for example a crisp wind, believe she may have been responsible for burying things similar to how squirrels hide or bury things in real life. Unfortunately, Crisp and her mechanic, whatever it was of course cut from the game, most likely due to time constraints or lack of functionality, which is a real shame. If we can have police dogs, pirates and fashion designers, I definitely think there's room for a doctor or two. Spawning Crisp. Anyway, moving on, all is not lost, and as you have probably guessed by now, Crisp can in fact be spawned into the game using action replay codes and other hacking techniques. Depending on how she is spawned into the game, she will take on one of two sets of data. The first is a character with garbled text as a name, which is the result of the game not being able to find her character's name, so basically assigns a default name to stop any errors occurring within the game. This converts to Johnny B as if she didn't have enough names already, but is technically nothing more than a fallback for any special character should an error occur. In this instance, she will use Capin's dialogue while acting as a special character. The second is a character that, although looks like Crisp, will take on Jambit's name. This is something to do with accessing villager data, and Jambit's data being the first index in the data structure, causing this to be the default data. Once spawned into the game, Crisp can pretty much act like a normal villager living alongside the player, which is pretty cool. So there we have it, that's the lost potential travelling doctor, special character Blazel, Chestnut or Crisp, depending on what you prefer to call her. Crisp seems to have been in the game from the very beginning, and although partially overwritten and removed at the last minute, remains in the game files all the way up to the Animal Crossing versions on GameCube, some 2 ports later, which led to her discovery, which is pretty cool. But what do you think about Crisp? Why do you think she was removed or overwritten in the game? And do you think there's room for a travelling doctor and corresponding mechanic in Animal Crossing? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, for now, that pretty much wraps up this video. If you're an Animal Crossing fan, don't forget to subscribe, as we'll be uploading a bunch of New Horizons news as and when it happens. I'm pretty sure we're going to be hearing something exciting very soon. Until then, I'd like to give a special thank you to this channel's Patreon supporters, as well as this channel's members. You guys absolutely rock and truly help me upload as regularly as I do. I couldn't do it without you. Don't forget to head over to our Discord server too, and of course, if you made it to the end of the video, please comment Crisp, just to let me know you did. That would be super awesome. And please be sure to include whether or not you could see a travelling doctor character being added to the franchise in the future. I'd love to know. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining. Please be sure to leave a like if you did. Thanks for watching, I hope you have an amazing day, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video. Peace.